Let's go ahead and create the detail component. And let's add the detail component right below the list. Okay. If you go to the detail component, the selector name is app detail, and that's what we have used in our app component. So let's see if it displays this message on the screen. Save all your files. Yeah, it does. Now the objective is to, when we click any of these companies on top, we want to pass name, description and color to the details component below. To do that, let's go to the list component, and we need to define the click event for each of these companies. So let's define a click event and call it on company click, and let's pass the event object just in case if we need to use it. Copy that, go to the list component.ts, okay, and let's also pass the current company object. So whichever company they select, that particular company's object, that is company name, description and background color, will be passed along with this event. So along with the event, we also happen to get the company. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to emit or dispatch an event saying a company is clicked from list component to the main component here. So let's do that. So we want to emit, let's call the emitter as, it will be an output. Let's call it company click event emitter. Okay, so let's dispatch this event by using emit method and pass on the company object. And also the event object just in case if you want to use. So this is actually same as this. Okay. And let's go to our main component, and list is what would emit the company click event, and here we want to assign this object to the app detail component. So let's define a method to service the company click event. Let's call it on company click. Let's pass the event So we get both the event and the object that we have passed in this event method. So let's go to app component, and so here if you log event, we shall get both the event and the company selected objects. So let's save all our files, and let's click on Microsoft. There you go. So we get the event object as well as the selected company, which is Microsoft, including the other information about the object. Let's click on Flipkart. So we get Flipkart. Now let's pass that object onto details component by creating another custom attribute. So let's go to app.component. Let's call a custom attribute as selected company, and assign a property called selected company, and let's declare this property. And let's assign this object called company to selected company, and this variable will be used right here, and it will be passed on to the selected company attribute in app detail. So let's go to the app detail, and let's define an input and of type object. Let's design the HTML of the detail component. Give the class of row, and let's give, okay, let's display the label. Let's also display the description. So the label would be selected company .comp name, and the description would be selected company .desk. Let's also give the background color to this entire div by using style.background color, and assign selected company .bgc. Alright, so let's save all our files. We get an error called cannot read property BGC of undefined. So we get this error because BGC is the selected company is not yet defined. It's defined only when we click on one of these companies. And to avoid this error, initially we have to give a condition by using ngIf directive. So we want Angular to execute this piece of code only when selected company has some value. Otherwise, it won't execute this HTML. Save this. So now the error is gone. Now if we click on one of the companies, we should be able to see the details below. There you go. So we get the selected companies, name, description, and the background color. Let's set the height of this component right in the CSS. So let's go to the CSS, and it's div of row, so let's try this and give a height of about 50%. That seems to be fine now. But if you look at the application, now that we do not have selected company selected yet, we are not able to see the details component. And this works only if selected company has some value, which is used by using the directive ngIf. Right? There's another way of doing this. If selected company is set with some value, Angular will display this piece of element. Else, we also have an else option. Else else block. Now what this else block is nothing but another element called ngTemplate, and we assign the ID in Angular like that with a hash and the keyword. So this and this keyword should be the same. So what we are trying to do here is if selected company has a value, Angular will display this piece of code. Else, it will display else block, which is this. So based on the condition, we can execute if else within the HTML in Angular, which is a great option for the web developers. So let's save this and see how this works. So as you can see, right now else condition is getting displayed. If we click on any of the company, then the company details will be displayed. Alright, cool. Let's set some margin and padding for details component. Let's give margin left of about 10 pixels and padding of about 20 pixels. Save. Perfect. Let's also move the button on the right and move the label in the middle, just like how we add in our mockup. So let's go to the company component and let's move the label in the middle. So let's try this. Let's give it about 30 pixels, 40 pixels, and let's use pull right class of bootstrap. Save all your changes. Perfect. And let's also show a hand cursor. Perfect. That's it for this one. In the next one, let's add the object that we enter here into this array within the list component. That's it for this one. See you in the next one. Share, stay tuned, and subscribe. Cheers.